the lightning sessions, the way this is kind of intended to work is to be kind of an ad hoc collaboration, right? So if there are topics that you would be interested in, let's go ahead and write some of those down. Yeah, okay. Doesn't matter, I'll turn it on. All right, is that on? Yeah, that's on. Yeah, that way at least we can get some of that. Okay, so I'm going to just talk loud over here. If you're wondering, I can talk loud. So some ideas and things we had. Talked with the guy from our group who went to the AngularJS conference. So we are going to have some discussion about AngularJS 2, if there are people interested. For those that don't know, AngularJS is a JavaScript framework. But one of the really cool things about it is it's got two-way data binding. So if you change some field on the front end, it changes one on the back end. Right, so it writes out to the server automatically. That's kind of one of the big selling points. There's a whole lot of other things it does, but that's one of the biggest selling points. Almost. Yeah, thanks. We'd like to know if there's a way that are not data sources.
Yes, I'll use the mic. We have data on other sources, student information, for example, or employee information that are separate systems, separate servers, and would like to be able to hit that information within our Drupal environment and create reports or whatever else.
Okay.
So I also have another topic for you. I'm really interested in your CAS, the CAS authentication.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about that.
We're also going to have the CAS session tomorrow also. CAS and CAS authentication, CAS attributes session tomorrow. Talking about getting that data over and permission stuff.
Anything else?
With the talk of external database services, we also talk about maybe using APIs for data.
Yeah. That's part of it.
Well, I guess two approaches that, right? You can either directly connect to your data source or in with your API.
So I'm gonna tackle that one really quick. If you're using Drupal 8, it just happens. It really is that pretty much that simple. Drupal 8 is built to both consume and produce external RESTful APIs just out of the box. It's using a PHP library called Guzzle that so that part's easy. For Drupal 7, consuming other sources is actually very straightforward. There's a model called services. Does a great job on to set up kind of external data sources to be pulled into the web services. And don't recall how the I think they don't enable data authentication. But certainly doable. It is something that can be done. Anything else?
So my coworker and I have been working on porting one of our Drupal sites over to Drupal 8 from Drupal 7. So if anybody has any questions about Drupal APIs or how the YML files interact with the modules and things like that, we might be able to help you out with that. Because we've been working on lots of code. We've been looking into templating with Drupal 8's Twig stuff recently, so we can talk a little bit about that too, if anybody's interested.
I had somebody wanting to talk about doing emails. Specifically, in their case, they are hosted off campus, and they're having difficulty with the emails. They're having difficulty getting the emails to consistently go out. So I think that that's the one where it's probably the status. I don't know how to stop that. You can't hear me at all? Really? I can repeat. Okay, I can repeat. I have a little 2-year-old whose automatic response now is why to everything. Okay, so yeah, I can repeat. So we've got AngularJS 2. Is Kevin even here? I didn't see it. There you are. Okay. I was pretty sure you were here, but I hadn't seen you, and the lights are really bright. So AngularJS 2, external data sources or APIs, integrating with an email server. Sometimes that's actually more work than it should be. Using CAS and then the Drupal 7 to 8 migration. Anything else we want to talk about? The intent is that we'll kind of break up into small groups and you'll just vote with your feet, right? If you're interested in one of the topics, you can kind of go to that area of the room. We can go up to the other 3 rooms we've got upstairs if we want to. If it's, people are just too loud, as I can sense we already are. Anyway, point is, anything else anybody would like to talk about? So a beginner Q&A. I've said this before, I don't know that I said it this morning, but Drupal has a fairly steep learning curve unless you have people you can ask questions of. And then it flattens right out. It really does. If you can ask questions, it starts to make a lot of sense. It was very well thought through, the way that they did it. It's just, you have to have that starting point to go from, right? Okay, so there are 6. Yes, sir. This will specifically be AngularJS. I was actually at a conference at DrupalCon last year in Los Angeles, and that question, that question was asked. They were like, okay, so what I'd like to do is put AngularJS on the front end of my Drupal application. How do I put it in the theme? And the guy that was presenting said, I need context. Why do you want it in your theme? What's the purpose of having it there? He goes, well, I want it there for the 2-way data binding. And the presenter said, that's what your theme does, right? If you change it on the front end, it changes in the back. You've already got that. AngularJS by itself in Drupal doesn't add value in terms of the 2-way data binding. There is the concept of running Drupal headless, where you're not using the theming at all, and then setting up your whole separate AngularJS to call web services within your Drupal site and doing it that way. That's certainly doable. But you could get the same value, if not maybe a little more, in terms of that by just doing, by spicing up your theme, right? By making that more responsive, more Ajax, those kind of things on your theme. Angular, I'll let Kevin really kind of answer what Angular is, but sometimes Drupal is way too big for what you're trying to do. Right? Sometimes all of the things that Drupal brings to the table are way more than you need. In those cases, you might want to consider doing a custom app, and Angular is a great place to start with that. So. No, the focus would just be on Angular. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's why. I'm like, how is it that it's so much louder when I'm up here? It's because I'm in front of the speakers when I'm up here. I can hear the speaker as opposed to back here where I can't. Okay, so there are 6. How many would be interested in the AngularJS? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Kevin. A beginner Q&A. How many would be interested? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Katria, 6. External data sources. Okay, 5. Email. Roslyn. Maybe. CAS. here, and Drupal 7 to 8. Okay, so no big numbers, and there were some people that didn't vote. That's okay. Why don't we go ahead and Kevin, why don't you go ahead and take your 6 for AngularJS? Go ahead and go up to 210. And then we've got the 3 rooms up there. So we'll do 3 of them up in the individual rooms, and then we'll just do 1 section each for the other 3. Well, they won't all be, it really won't make a whole lot of sense to record it, because it's going to be working with a small group in each area, right? So let's go ahead and, since we had external data sources in CAS, let's go ahead and do the beginner QA up there in, actually, I guess that's true. Which one has the camera up there? Is it 220 or 210? So go ahead and why don't you take the beginner QA up to 220? Okay, so of the Drupal, the migrate Drupal 7 to 8, that was you guys, and then there were a few up in here. Yeah, except for Drupal 210 I already set up for the Angular, and that would probably be more useful since we won't go over Angular 2 again in a training, right? So these two I kind of see together, and then the email, I don't want to waste any more time. Let's go ahead and put the email over here where Roslyn is. We'll do the external data sources in CAS over here where you guys are, David. And the Drupal 7.8 stuff we'll do here in the middle. Does that work for everybody? It's going to be in 220. So go ahead and head to the rooms if you're headed to a room. If you're not, come down further so that we can have actually some conversation.